Hey everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to be smoking a 9-pound brisket. Now it is going to take some time. I'm going to let this go for about 10 to 12 hours, but in front of us, not a lot of ingredients. Your brisket, your favorite seasonings, in my case, salt, pepper, honey powder, garlic powder. You know the routine, you know how I like to do my seasonings. Anyways, I'm going to show you step by step how to trim this up so that way we can get this in the smoker sooner than later. You ready? Let's do it. The first thing I like to do is remove the decal fat, which is a fattier part of your brisket. This usually adds moisture and flavor. However, if you want a leaner cut of meat, then removing the decal fat may be a way to go. Now, most pro barbecue pitmasters recommend trimming the fat off a brisket prior to placing it in the smoker. This will provide a smooth shape that cooks more evenly in the smoker and also a more visually appealing finished product. Now, I also try to take it off the fat, but I do leave about 1/4 inch of fat on top only because when it cooks, it renders and all that moisture is going to go down into your meat. So if you have a select brisket, choice, or even prime brisket, you're still going to end up with a really juicy and tender end product. I also recommend keeping the fat so that way you can render it all out and you'll have beef tallow to cook some other delicious meals with. This is what it's going to start out like. Over a low heat, this is what it'll continue to look like as it cooks down. And this is our end result with all that delicious beef tallow. Now before I season my brisket, I like to score it on top so that way when I do put all my seasoning on top, it'll get into the crevices to really enhance the flavor of my brisket. I preheated my smoker to 225. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in and let it start to cook for about 6 hours. Of course, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Now this is where I like to take my brisket out and start to wrap it up. What I like to do is I like to put it over some onions. That way when the fat renders out, it'll cook those onions and then you have something to enjoy with your brisket after it's done cooking. Notice sous chef Ron ding, is watching to make sure we do everything right because that's what good little boys do. Now we're going to put our brisket back in the smoker for another 6 hours till it hits 190 to 195 degrees internal temperature. And then of course, don't forget to give yet another thumbs up. After a wardrobe change in 6 more hours, we're going to take our brisket out. Now you want to unwrap and get a temperature reading of your brisket. Make sure to stick your thermometer in the thickest part of your meat so you know where you're at internally. I like to get my temperature between 190 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything more than that will result in a dry and chewy cut of meat. Also keep in mind that the temperature will increase by about 10 degrees during the resting phase. Looks like we got that 190 degree mark. We'll let it rest. Now, time to cut into it. Let's see what we got. My electric smoker didn't leave much of a smoke ring, if any at all, but now it's time where we get to taste it and see what the end result really is like. Overall, for being a select brisket, I was not disappointed with the flavor or the tenderness and juiciness, but I appreciate you all for watching this video. Make sure you follow me on social media, Chef Steven Gonzalez on Facebook, Chef Steve Gonz on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Also go to chefstevengonzalez.com, get a copy of my cookbook, get your grub on, and we're going to catch you next time. See ya.